I'm the Rockhopper, and today we're going to explore beautiful Lundy Canyon here in the eastern Sierra of California. It's fall, and the aspens are starting to turn colors. So you might wonder, who are the locals in this region? Well, look in front of you right there, and that tells the tale. Those are the beavers. That's right, the beaver families. They build dams in this region. Ever wonder what beavers live in? Well, it's called a lodge, and I'll give you a close-up view. You can see it in the distance here. If you look in the upper, sort of left-hand corner of it, there's a close-up of the beaver lodge. So they live inside these, and they construct them, and they're different than the beaver dams. This is known locally as the Chief. It was painted some years back. It looks like it dates back to 1970. Here's the Lundy Canyon trailhead sign, and there's a little bit of history here. It says this area, which is in the Homer Mining District, has a colorful mining history. The trailhead is located near the old Parrot Mine mill site. An overshot water wheel powered the Arrastra-type rock crushing mill here in the late 1800s. The remains of an old trapper's cabin can also be seen next to the trail. Please, the historical features of the canyon are for your observation and pictures only. They are protected by the Federal Antiquities Act of 1906 for future generations to enjoy as a window into our past. And also, keep in mind, this is a no-drone zone. Okay, so I'm on the Lundy Canyon Trail right now, and we're going up through some aspen groves. Well, it's really beautiful in here along the trail. So let's check it out some more. Come on, let's go. Pretty good, huh? The trail passes by an avalanche chute. And what that means is the snow comes down very quickly, creating a humongous avalanche, which pretty much obliterates all life in its path. And in these small mining towns at the base of the Sierras on the eastern side, many people were buried alive in avalanches, and that is how they perished. And here's another look, looking down the other side of the avalanche chute. You can see the trees are half buried and dead. And then there's another chute on this opposite mountain as well, it looks to be. And it goes up quite a ways. You can imagine the force and the sound of the avalanche when it comes down. Here's a shot of the rock and mud and debris that pretty much buried this forest. A little touch of color in the aspens. Fall is coming on, and while the aspens aren't at their peak just yet, They will be in maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. This is known as one of the beaver ponds. They built a big dam that was probably 50 feet wide by about 5 feet tall. And then a flood came in and demolished it. But it lasted for probably 40 years or so, and the beavers are kind of busy restoring it now. Here in the eastern Sierras, you can find juniper trees, and these are its berries. You can make tea out of the berries, and you can actually eat them, although they're not real tasty. But the tea is supposed to be good for colds and flus. Going along the trail, there's a beautiful waterfall down below that you can see. So the trail leads into the wilderness. The Hoover Wilderness. Here's a shot of the canyon looking north. Here's the noise boy of the California mountains. He's a Steller's jay. Seriously? I can't understand people who come to a place of serene beauty and leave their trash. And what are you fools thinking? That is completely disrespectful. We are not your trash removal service. far up on the trail now. I think these are the biggest aspen trees I've ever seen in my entire life. They're the thickest trunks anywhere, at least that I've seen. Now this aspen tree right here is probably the biggest one I've ever seen, like ever. This thing is a mega monster aspen. Remember that aspen trunks are usually about this big around, but look at this thing. Look, that's huge. In the words of a certain narrator on a TV show called California's Gold, there was a guy named Huell Hauser, and I'm going to use exactly the words that he would have used to describe this tree. He would have said, "That is amazing!" So here's more of the grove. Just awesomely big trees. And look at the inscriptions on this aspen. 1933. Once again, Huell would have said, "That is amazing." Will you have a look at that? Oh my goodness, look at all those amazing trees. They're big, they're beautiful. Now will you look at those two aspens there? It's like they're joined at the hip. That is so spectacular, I cannot believe it. Get a shot of that, Louie. Look at those dates on these trees. 1958 right there. 1935. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? 1931. That is amazing. Look at that. Look at those roots. They're just reaching right down into that soil. So I'm probably about 1 3/4 miles up from the trailhead sign. And here we have an old trapper's log cabin. What's left of it anyway. So let's have a look a little bit closer here on how this thing was constructed. Some pretty nice handiwork there. And you got to remember, this was probably back in the 1920s, maybe earlier, maybe the 1910s, maybe 1900. I'm not really sure. But somebody lived up in here. Some old trapper or gold miner. This old cabin could be as old as the late 1800s. Look at the way these things grew, all crooked and curved like. These are aspens, but just look at the way they're so bent. The way they just curve around. Look at that thing. It grew just like the shape of a horseshoe. you've enjoyed this trip and little hike up Lundy Canyon. The trail keeps on going, but daylight is running out. So I hope you enjoyed the adventure. Tune in next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will keep taking you to pretty places like this. So until next time, this is the Rockhopper.